Good afternoon. This is Debbie Davis. It is July 28th, 2025. Okay, so we have more things coming out about in Minnesota. So there was just a, there was just a scandal that came out last week where there was they were finding like 1 billion in fraud in Minnesota. Like I said, it all involves the fraud and the money laundering. So I think this came out before, but it just came out again, where there's 71 people arrested in fraud regarding Omar.
Moments later.
In the last hour, a jury has found the ringleaders of the largest pandemic aid scam in the country guilty on all charges.
Pandemic scam.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. Give us a little flick of the finger. Just a little flick of the finger helps out this channel tremendously.
So Omar was promoting fraud.
A flick of the finger. Come on, people.
Okay, so she's promoting some kind of a fraud.
In this case, they said they were using federal dollars to give meals to thousands of kids during the pandemic, but instead pocketed the cash.
It's a pandemic fraud.
It was 40 people.
Okay, so
then. It's up.
So they got a bunch of money that was supposedly for the pandemic, and then they used it for fraud. So this is more evidence against Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz. And so, and years ago, there was this group that was trying to expose Omar for being involved in
Trump is calling for an investigation of Congresswoman
voter
Ilhan
harvesting.
Omar after a right-wing
This was 4
group
years
known
ago.
for its controversial videos claims that it has evidence of voter harvesting linked to Omar.
Yeah.
Two Minnesota House GOP
She was
leaders
paying
are also
people
asking
to
Minnesota's
put
Secretary of State.
She was paying people to put ballots for Biden in the boxes. She was paying them. These people already tried exposing her for that. They were burning the real ballots and putting in fake ballots, and she was paying them. I mean, this woman is so dirty. I don't know. Can you get any more dirty? I mean, this is dangerous. So anyway, we have that coming out, and then we have, and I believe that that her and Tim Walz were involved in the shooting of these politicians. Okay, and I think that this Melissa Hortman, I think some of this evidence about this voter harvesting years ago was turned into this Melissa Hortman and some of these people at the Capitol that got killed. Okay, because it says on one of the videos that some of this evidence was turned into some of the local people. Okay, so, was this a motive for the shooting? And, I think this directly links Omar and Tim Walz to the shootings here. So, I think, basically what I have learned in my targeting is that the people that are coming after me, that I investigate the people that are coming after me and find out dirt on them, basically, because because I know I'm innocent. If you know you're innocent, which I am, and all of us targeted people are, then then clearly they're dirty. So then you find out why they are dirty, right? Because the cops are illegally getting money from Homeland Security to target me, and we know now it's coming out. It's coming from Homeland Security. Okay, so then I started researching Homeland Security. So this started 3 years ago. I started researching Homeland Security and finding out information from people. Somebody said all the money for targeting you is coming from Homeland Security. And then when I did this video 3 years ago, I'll show you the links. There was a big fires that broke out in D.C. as soon as I started exposing that 3 years ago. But I mean, this is a tactic that I learned. I start investigating the people that have been dirty to me. And who did I learn this tactic from? Jesus. Because this is what he did when when they were trying to cast the stone. They were trying to stone this woman, and then he started writing stuff in the sand in front of all these men that were standing around trying to stone her, and he was writing all these stuff in the sand. Okay, what was he writing in the sand? He was writing all of their sins. Oh, okay, whoever is the first one who hasn't sinned, cast the stone. And then he starts writing in the sand all of their sins. And then one by one they start walking away. You know, it doesn't say exactly what he wrote in the sand, but that's what he was writing. Oh, here's what you've done. Here's your sin. And then one by one they start all walking away. And then they all walked away, and she didn't get stoned. Okay, this is, you go and find out stuff about them. What? Because if you know you're innocent, then you start investigating your enemies. So anyway, I'm doing some real research on DHS here, Department of Homeland Security, because we know the money for this targeting here in the States comes from Department of Homeland Security. And so this video I did, this is the video I did 3 years ago.
So I'm going to attempt to try to
3 years
finish
ago.
my video.
Right after I did this video, this was
off
more of my video
last time.
exposing the CIA, Homeland Security, and the Pandora files. Okay, right after this video, there was these fires that broke out. So the fires broke out in an abandoned barn catches fire. This was December 3rd, 2022. Can't see it in Old St. Elizabeth's Hospital in D.C., Washington, D.C. area. Okay, that was the exact location of the Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security is offices are, it says headquarters of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in Washington, D.C. are located at St. Elizabeth's West Campus, Washington, D.C. Operations began on March 1st, 2003, after being formed as a result of the Homeland Security Act of 2002 and enacted in response to the September 11th attacks. I mean, okay, so, but they haven't done one thing to protect our border. They lost 300,000 children. We know now that the September 11th attacks were an inside job of our own government. So why do we need Homeland Security? Let's just, rescind this Homeland Security Act. Because, there's too much truth coming about how dirty this agency is. So, yes, December 4th, Elizabeth Campus fires. Okay, what they're doing is they're trying to cover up their the evidence that all of the money that's being paid to the police to target me and others came from the Homeland Security. This right after I did this video, these fires broke out. Okay, Elizabeth's Campus, Saturday afternoon, historic fires. Okay. This whenever there's a fire, they're trying to cover up their evidence. Okay, and there's been a lot of fires in the Pennsylvania area. There was fires around the SPS Technologies in Abington, Pennsylvania, 5 months ago. Anytime you have fires, they're usually trying to cover up their evidence. Okay, I don't know what's going on with this Centralia fire. Apparently there's a fire burning underground there, but it's gone on for decades. Okay, and but I mean, we have this agency that has 250,000 employees that hasn't done one thing to secure our border and has lost 300,000 children. This is not a legitimate agency. We just need to, and not only are they not legitimate, they're getting paid to, they're paying the police to target innocent whistleblowers and veterans. Okay, so this is a completely illegitimate agency. So, and I don't even know where their current corporate offices are. It doesn't even say where their current corporate offices are. It's like they have all these people scattered all over the country, and they work out of their homes. Usually when people work out of their homes, they're trying to hide something. If you don't have a corporate office you work out of, then you're a shady agency. And I knew you were 3 years ago. Years ago, I knew you were shady. Okay. You know, there's apparently an office in multiple different states, you know, but they don't actually give the address. You know, what's the actual address? You know, let's see. Department of Homeland Security offices. You know, okay, it says there's one in St. Paul, 444 Cedar Street, St. Paul. Okay, there's apparently one in multiple different states. This is where this is the agency that's this is where the money is coming from to target you, all you targeted people in Minnesota. This office right here, I just gave you the address. 444 Cedar Street, St. Paul, Minnesota. The money that comes down for targeting you illegally comes from Homeland Security. And there's an office in Minnesota. There's an office in multiple different states, and the headquarters was that campus in Washington. I don't know where the headquarters is now. Where is the headquarters of the Department of Homeland Security? You know, Washington, D.C., what, okay, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Okay, it says their offices are located at 300 7th Street Southwest, Washington, D.C. Okay, this is the head of the Targeted Individual Program right here. I just gave you the address. 300 7th Street Southwest, Washington, D.C. And I gave you the address to the one in St. Paul. This is where your money is coming from for the illegal Targeted Individual Program that has murdered thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent people just because we are patriots or veterans or whistleblowers. Okay? So here's where your criminals are located. And that includes Kristi Noem. And believe me, I haven't even gotten started with what I know about Kristi Noem because of South Dakota. And then, so, I mean, this Mayorkas guy, I mean, let's just play a little clip from years ago of how dumb he is. I mean, Mayorkas, that when he was interviewed by Senate, remember, like, this was from a few years ago. I mean, he couldn't even answer, like, a single question, you know. He couldn't answer a single question from the Senate about what his agency is doing. You know.
Who were separated under the prior administration. We recently launched a website where families who were indeed separated can register for relief. We are working very closely with counsel for the families.
None of this was true that he even said.
The nations of origin,
like none of this actually happened. These were all lies, as far as I know.
Provision of passports for parents who do indeed want to come here.
So let me ask you, Mr. Secretary, you've heard the criticism that you're doing exactly the same thing that Trump did with zero tolerance. Are you, in fact, forcibly separating children from their families without good cause?
Absolutely not. And let me also say that we are working with international organizations, including the International Organization for Migration, to work with trusted voices to rebuild the trust of the parents that the prior administration destroyed, so they have the courage to come forward and be reunited with their children.
Mr. Secretary, you know my interest in the DREAM Act and DACA, as well as DAPA, and the efforts that Congress has been involved in. We had court decisions on President Trump's effort to eliminate DACA protection for the thousands who received it. What efforts is DHS making to reduce the backlog of DACA renewal applications? At the end of June, I understand 84,000 requests were pending, including 13,000 renewals for more than 120 days. What are you doing about it?
Mr. Chairman, our efforts are well underway in that regard. We are prioritizing applications based upon their expiration date so that we make sure that no lapses in deferred action for childhood arrivals eligibility occur. We are also, when we renew an application, we are making it effective upon the date of expiration so that there is no gap in eligibility of.
So what's the backlog now?
Mr. Chairman, I'll have to get back to you on the precise number of that backlog, and I will do so.
I hope you'll do it promptly.
We have worked very, very vigilantly to reduce it.
The phrase catch and release is used by your critics to suggest that some people who manage to get across the border and make some claim to have a right under asylum law to be in the United States are released and never seen again, that they are somehow go into the nation at large, don't show up for their hearings, and that it's worse now than it was under the Trump administration. Is that true?
Mr. Chairman, the term catch and release has been used very loosely for many, many years across different administrations. Individuals who are not removed, who are not expelled under the CDC's Title 42 authority are placed into immigration enforcement proceedings. Those who abscond are a priority for removal under the immigration enforcement priorities that I issued on September 30th.
Do they show up at their hearings?
The great majority do, Mr. Chairman.
No, they don't. They don't show up, and they've been, dispersed throughout the whole country. I mean, I don't blame people for coming over here. It was a wide open border, but I think I think there was 30 million that came over, and but the problem I have is all the kids that disappeared, and then they're illegitimately using this money. They try to say, and our border hasn't been protected at all. I mean, and they weren't properly vetting people that were coming in at all. So, I mean, he didn't properly answer like any single question. That was the Senate hearing from from 3 years ago. You can listen to that. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas testifies before Senate Judiciary Committee in 11/16/21. I mean, it was just laugh-worthy. He's like, "Oh, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you." I mean, he was just, So, I mean, this agency is not a legitimate agency. This is a human trafficking agency. They trafficked children, and they had our border wide open, and we have no idea exactly who came over because nobody was properly vetting. They're illegally using the Homeland Security money to target innocent veterans like myself and patriots and military. Okay, so this is an illegitimate agency that was started on a false premise to begin with, and that you have not protected the border. It is not protected the homeland, and in fact, it is the opposite of protecting our homeland. And the police have been paid under the table by this Homeland Security to target me. I know that the police are getting money from Homeland Security. I know this. I know that people all over the world are having problems with the police in the UK and many different countries. And so I would try to find out, because the police are one of the main problems with the New World Order. They're one of the first line that's going to come and try to arrest you or bully you or illegally lock you up. The police are a huge part of the New World Order. So I would try, in our case over here, it's DHS that's funding them to do this. So I would try to find out in your country what agency is funding the police to do this, because now we're getting to the bottom of it over here, where the funding is coming from this illegal activity that they're doing to innocent citizens over here. Like I said, they've killed 250 people here in Minnesota since 2000. And I mean, and they always get away with it. They never go to jail, so they're getting away with murder, and we can't allow that. They're murderers. They're murderers. They don't just kill people. There's videos of the police killing animals. You know, these are Masons. They're sick people. They're sick people. They're really demented, sick people that are part of a satanic cult, and they have no business having guns and badges. Okay.